Hello, my name is Isaac, and today I'll be going over question 11, which is explain how aggregate demand in an economy might be affected by a rise in the exchange rate and a decrease in the income of major trading partners. So to understand this question, we first must go over what aggregate demand is, and it refers to the total demand in the economy for goods and services at a certain price level at a specific time. AD in economy is the sum of all consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports, where NX is equal to total exports minus total imports. This can be represented mathematically as AD equals C plus I plus G plus NX. So aggregate demand is represented by the AD curve, which will show the relationship between price levels and quantity that producers are willing to provide at that price. The relationship between AD and the price is normally negative, showing that the less people are willing to pay, the less firms will produce, or from the other point of view, the less firms charge, the more people will buy. Below is a simple AD curve, which kind of represents the question that I have. So in the chart, the AD curve is represented by a negatively sloped line, so it's pushing to the left. If prices are lower, the demand is greater. This negative relationship between price and demand has a number of important monetary consequences. It is necessary to briefly examine these prior to examining the relationship between exchange rate and aggregate demand. First, price levels have a direct relationship to the real value of money. This is because as price levels decrease, the purchasing power of consumers increase, meaning the real value of the economy they hold increases. Likewise, if P increases, consumers get less for the same money, or the real value of their money has decreased. Therefore, P and the real value of money are inversely related to each other. Secondly, decreases in P cause an increase in the real interest rate. Interest rates, the price a borrower pays to borrow, or the return a lender receives for lending, can be expressed as a nominal or real rate. The nominal rate is the amount that must be paid for borrowing, expressed solely in money terms. The real interest rate is the nominal rate adjusted to take account of inflation. Thus, real interest rates are expressed by the following. Thus, the higher P, the lower the real interest rate. Therefore, any increase in inflation will generally lead to pressure on the nominal interest rate to increase to offset the deduction that will result from inflation. However, as we've seen above, the price level decreases add to the real value of money. This is the same as saying that they decrease inflation. A decrease in inflation will mean the real interest rates are now higher than they were before the decrease in inflation. Therefore, price levels decrease, raise real interest rates, and cause pressure for interest rates to be reduced. So a more simplified version of what I just said is a fall in the value of a currency will make exports cheaper and imports more expensive. This will cause the volume of exports to rise, which would positively impact aggregate demand and cause subsequent economic growth. As well as this, AD would shift from imports to domestically produced goods and services, leading to a further rise in imports. However, if the demand for imports is price inelastic, then demand will not fall by as much as the price rise. This would mean the value of imports would rise, which would actually cause a large withdrawal from the circular flow of income, causing AD to fall, which is all shown in my graph. As you can see, the aggregate demand shifts to the left because there's less consumption, consumer spending power. And we could see this in a multitude of different governments or countries where they're facing this epidemic, specifically Venezuela. They kind of have this same problem that is being discussed in this, where there's a rise in exchange rate, meaning, that since they have less money due to the decrease in income, the aggregate demand just naturally shifts to the left.